Alright, what's up GDC? So this is going to be a little tutorial on our 2D platformer that we worked on over the first 2 weeks of our club meetings. So this is going to be starting from the very beginning. So I'll probably put timestamps in the description if you want to skip to specific moments, or like say if you wanted to just start from the beginning, or if you wanted to start at animations or whatnot. So I'm going to be working on the actual app version of Godot, but if you're working on the web version, it should be pretty much the same in terms of like the buttons and whatnot. If you want to preload one of the project files that I have in the Google Drive, you can find the project examples in this folder right here. And if you just download this file right here and place it into preload project zip if you're on the web version, or if you place it into import existing project on the app version, it'll load the template projects that I have in that folder. So we're just going to go ahead and start from scratch because I want to show you guys the entire process. You're going to click on Create New Game. Name it whatever you'd like. I'm just going to call it 2D Platformer for now. 2D Platform 2. Okay. Our renderer, I'm going to choose compatibility because it allows it to run on the web. Because I want to upload this game for GitHub, which I'll show you guys how to do later on. But if you guys want to make it higher quality, whatever, blah, 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 you can do mobile or forward. But for our purposes, you really only need compatibility. So we're going to hit create, give it a second. Okay, now, once you're in the scene, you're going to go ahead and switch over to the 2D view because we're not going to be making a 3D game, we're going to be making a 2D game. And over on the left, inside of the scene, we're going to click create other node, and we're going to type in character body 2D. So this is going to be our character, our player character, and it'll have everything that relates to the character, including its sprite, collision, animation, whatnot. So we're going to right click on this, click add child node, and we're going to add a collision shape 2D. And now this collision shape 2D, notice how there's this little node configuration warning. So in order to fix that, we're going to go over to shape and click new capsule shape 2D. And as you can see, it created this little oval here. So this is going to be the hitbox for our player. And the reason we chose capsule shape instead of rectangle or circle or whatever is just because it's easier to play around with in terms of sizing, and it works better with slopes for it to be an oval instead of a rectangle, but honestly, it doesn't matter that much. You could really choose whatever you'd like. And we're also going to right click on character body 2D, click add child node, and we're going to add an animated sprite 2D. So this will contain all the visuals for our character. You'll notice that it also has a node configuration warning, and this is because we haven't added a sprite frames to it. So in order to do that, we have to go to the right here. Under animation, we're going to click on sprite frames and click new sprite frames. And we're going to click on that to open it up. And you'll see this window called animation frames show up. So this is going to be where you input all of your images to load animations for your character. So if I wanted to say load, let's see, this image that I have here that I created earlier, we're going to go ahead and drag it into file system here. And you'll see that it loaded our idle animation image right here under our main folder. So I'm actually going to create a new folder here. I'm going to call it player. And this is just for organizational purposes. I'm going to put all of our image files for our player under this folder. And once we have our image here, we can go ahead and drag it inside of the animation frames to, there we go, create our first character. So as you can tell, it's a little bit fuzzy right now. So if you're using low resolution images like I am, which typically come with like pixel art, it'll kind of interpolate it weirdly, and it'll have like these weird like edges. You'll see it's kind of fuzzy. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into visibility, texture. We're going to go into texture, and inside of filter, we're going to click nearest. And see, there we go. Nice and sharp now. So after we've done this, we're going to go over to character body 2D. We're going to right click it and click attach script. And if this template box isn't checked, we're going to go ahead and check it so that you see character body 2D basic movement. And we're going to click create. So this will be the basic movement script for our character. And as you can see, if we were to playtest it right now, let's see, just like current. If we were to play test it right now, the character is just kind of going to fall into the void here because we don't have any ground for it to stand on, which is okay because we'll be working on that later. Now this is what we accomplished in at the end of our first meeting. So now we'll be working on animating this character. So right here, we're going to click on the animated sprite 2D and open up the sprite frames again. And we're going to insert the other frames of our animation. So for this, I have another image. It's called idle 2. Insert that in there. You'll see that it's 2 different frames of an animation. And if we click the little play button here, you'll notice that it starts demoing our animation. So if you want to change the speed of the animation, you can click on FPS right here. This is the frames per second. So if I set it to a lower number, notice how the animation slows down. Or if I set it to a higher number, it speeds up. So I think I'm just going to leave it at 5 for now. Yeah. Alright guys, bouncing up and down happily. We're going to rename this animation to idle. So now we have our idle animation. We also have to add our run animation. So I have these other 2 images that I'm also going to import into our file system that are our running animation images. So these, we're going to click on this button here that says add animation, and we're going to call this run. And we're going to insert these 2 images into the animation frames. So you'll notice how one frame is kind of like with the legs together, the other frame is with the legs apart. So this will be our run animation. Look at him go. And once we're happy with our animations here, what we're going to do is, first of all, I'm going to resize our hitbox because our character does not fit that size. And second of all, we're going to click on the script that we made earlier. And we're going to go to this line underneath velocity.x equals move toward. We're going to hit enter. And we're going to type a new block of code that'll help animate our character. So we're going to type if velocity.x exclamation mark equals to 0, colon, hit enter, $ animated sprite 2D dot animation is equal to run, and $ animated sprite 2D dot flip underscore v is equal to false. And then underneath that, we're going to type animated sprite 2D dot flip underscore h is equal to velocity dot x is less than 0. So this right here, essentially what this says is if our character is moving, so if the velocity of our character isn't equal to 0, that's what this exclamation mark equal sign means, then it'll set our animated sprite 2D's animation to the run animation. And the flip vertical just means that it's not upside down. And flip horizontal, so this block of code will make it so that our character will face the direction that they're moving. So velocity.x is essentially their horizontal movement. And if their horizontal movement is negative, that means they're going to the left. If it's positive, that means they're going to the right. So if we set this as a Boolean by making it less than 0, then we can essentially use that as information for whether we want it to be flipped horizontally or not. So after this, we're going to click enter, and we're going to put else $ animated sprite 2D dot animation is equal to idle. So this is saying that if the velocity isn't equal to 0, then it'll play the run animation. Otherwise, if it is equal to 0, then it'll play the idle animation. And then under this, we're going to click animated sprite 2D dot play. And make sure this is not indented, or else it'll be inside of the else. So this will finally just play whatever animation that it's set to. And now our character should have animation set to it. So if we were to hit play here, you can see, well, okay, well, it kind of just fell into the void there, but hold on. Well, it's a little hard to see, but if you zoom in really close, you'll see that our character is now animated. Alright, now that we've finished creating our character and animating it, I'm just going to go ahead and make a simple level so that you guys can see what it looks like in terms of the animations and just have a little thing to play around with. So we're going to go ahead, click Add New Scene, and we're going to create root node as 2D scene. We're going to go ahead and rename it to level. And the great thing about Godot is, remember that character body 2D scene that we made earlier? So this is our character. So it's actually saved in the file system right here. So this is our character. So wherever we're going to drag this scene, our character will appear. So any edits that we make to the scene, since it's saved in our file system, say if I were to change the animated sprite 2D or do something to the script here, it'll save and it'll commit those edits anywhere that this character is. Anywhere that this scene is, I mean. So you see how this scene is under a different scene? If I edit it here, it'll edit even if it's not inside of the same scene, which is awesome. So inside of our level scene, we're just going to go ahead, click Add Child Node. I'm going to add a static body 2D. So this is just going to be a simple platform for our character to stand on. We aren't working on terrains yet. That'll be next video. And you see how this also has a node configuration warning. It's because we haven't added a collision shape to it yet. So we're going to go ahead, click Add Child, and click Collision Shape 2D. This is similar to what we did with our character body 2D. And for this one, we're just going to make it a rectangle because I can't be bothered. Alongside this rectangle, we're going to add a sprite 2D. So notice how it's not an animated sprite 2D. It's just a sprite 2D because I don't need anything fancy. It's just going to be a platform. I have this JPEG of a brick that I'm just going to add into our file system here so that we can go ahead, click on sprite 2D. Under texture, I can just quick load and quick load the brick image that we had. So wow, that is huge. I'm just going to go ahead and resize that all the way down. And just make it roughly fit the size of our collision shape. So now we have our little brick platform that we have here. So I want it to be something that our character can stand on, so I'm just going to put down over here and extend the collision shape 2D and the sprite 2D out a little bit so that we just have a nice little platform for our character to stand on. Another thing is, after we save this scene, we're going to go ahead, since this is our level, this is going to be our main scene, we're going to have to set it as our main scene so that the game knows that when we click play, it'll play this scene first. So we're going to right click it and click set as main scene. So now it's blue. And if we were to hit the play button, you can see it loads into our scene and our character is here standing on our little brick platform. So as you can tell, the resolution's kind of messed up. Like, the game is tiny, but the window is huge. So we can go ahead and fix that. If we go into project, click on project settings, type in window at the top, and then we go to viewport width. I'm going to set it to 380 by 180 just to make it quite a bit smaller. And then if you scroll down until you find stretch, you're going to click on disabled and turn it into canvas items. And after you do that, we're also going to change the mode from windowed to maximized. So now when we open our game, when we play test it, it should scale it to the correct resolution. Yep, see how it's much more zoomed in. So as you can see, we have our little character here. The movement keys are left and right arrow keys to walk around and space to jump. So if you ever want to edit the speeds or the jump height, you can do so inside of the script of our character body 2D. Just go ahead, scroll up to the top. See how the constant speed is equal to 300. So if I set it to like 100 and our jump velocity to like -200, notice how the jump velocity is a negative number, because in Godot, for some reason, negative means up. I don't know why they made it like that. It's the only thing that makes Godot a little bit weird, but whatever. You'll see how our character is significantly slower and jumps way less. But you'll see how when we're moving, the run animation plays, when we're standing still, the idle animation plays, and yeah. We have the very basics of our first platform setup. Next tutorial, next meeting, we'll be going over terrain and actually developing a level and a camera system that moves. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll be posting this project file in the project files folder inside GDC over here. And yeah, see you guys at the next meeting.